Disco Live.
Like Rodney's shirt says, don't panic and take the 420.
Take the 420.
It's mostly harmless.
I mean, Alex is not convinced, but yeah.
It is mostly harmless. Because what happens when you fail? Nothing.
You get to try again.
Exactly. Oh, I noticed my speaker there. There's a better speaker, maybe. Or microphone, whatever those things are called. I haven't taken a test on audio equipment, so, you know.
Yeah, audio equipment's overrated.
Totally.
So, it's been a bit, Sarah.
It has.
We had a bit of a holiday weekend here in the U.S. And then Monday.
I know, right? Too much going on. A few announcements, a few things here and there. Got everything confused. Week after a holiday week. Yeah.
Yep. So we apologize for not being here Monday. We had every intention of being until Atlassian changed our plans on us.
Yes.
So before we dive deep into this, because I'm going to be honest, I have no idea where we were. I'm just trusting this is right.
We're just going to go with it. I think it is. It's good enough. Our best practices. I remember talking about best practices and that they were coming through as sort of very generic best practices like you might see on LinkedIn posts that are saying talk to your people, map out your processes before you start building your processes, things like that. So I think that's, I wasn't even looking at the screen when I was saying all of that.
No. And to be fair, Alex has done content saying this. I have done content saying this. Every content creator in this space have said these same things. So if you're coming to this and you are surprised, why?
Yeah, because it's not best practices on specific configurations in your projects.
Oh, these are the generic ones. With that being said, on the off case that we have someone who has never seen Jira before, never seen any of us, let's at least go through it.
Sure thing. So we are now learning about those best practices. And as we were saying, first things first, talk to your team. So a Jira project can only succeed if the team adopts it. Always try to create and configure projects to meet your team's requirements. It's important to take time to thoroughly gather requirements and work processes before configuring boards, work types, request types, workflows, and roles. In other words, get your ducks in order and then set them free in Jira.
This is something I'm going to add here because this is never really expanded upon. Don't stop at management. Don't talk to the team lead and go, well, I've got all my requirements. Talk to the team separately if possible and see what their pain points are. Anyone who may interface with the team, what do they need? What information are they able to provide? Get the details from all sides. Don't just take one side of the story.
And would you say, getting a little off topic here, but sometimes even talk to people who have configured things, who have similar processes, and learn a bit from them too.
Yep.
All right. So our long-term needs when choosing the project key, because that project key, well, for me, was more important because I knew everybody knows all our project keys, but now you don't see them in our side panel, but they live on, they endure, even if that's not how we see them all the time. And so we need to be conscious of that project key. And the reason, you want to jump in?
I mean, I think I covered this. Some of this is starting to come back now. It's still been a week and a half or 2 weeks, actually. But again, you're still going to see these project keys in every single work item. If you call them issues, you're still going to see them there too. So the last thing you want is for your analysis team to constantly have to reference anal-3526
I was going to say, consider a lot how you would name your child because it will endure and they will make fun of you for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, we can move on to those simple configurations, workflows, dashboards, project configurations. Dare we say standardizing them, taking what's already out there, reusing things, but also making it so that it's not overly complex. So there aren't perhaps rules or automations or things that validations and conditions that are going on your workflows that make things unexpected for your users. So that's part of what I think about when it's keep your configuration simple.
I think the best advice I've gotten here was back in college, and it's always work like it's your last day. Part of that is just practical. You don't have a lot to do when it actually is your last day because you've been preparing for it. Um, and part of that is take the notes, keep your configuration simple, make sure that when you look at it, you understand what's going on. But when someone else looks at it, they also understand what's going on because that just doesn't help when it's your last day. It helps when you bring some new people on. Maybe you get some help. It's easier for them to figure out. All these things are why it's incredibly important. And to be a little bit pessimistic, we can't forget that none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. So there's always that, and I'm going to have to say it again because I work IT. It's something you got to prepare for. So multiple reasons why you need to keep your configuration simple. As I said, just work like it's your last day.
Yeah, and or work like you have very poor short-term memory because I find a lot of times even for things I've set up myself, you go back in a year later, right? And you're like,
I
oh,
mean,
good thing this was here like this.
what's the quote that after 6 weeks, a programmer's code looks like a stranger's code?
Oh, I don't know that one. That's not my background, but I can well imagine. Yes. Like who wrote this?
Hmm.
All right. And so speaking of, right, so it's reusing those other configurations when possible. That's how, Jira was set up to be able to share these configurations in company managed projects. So we can benefit from that standardization. We have that predictability across our projects, especially if you're doing things where you may have a lot of cross project reporting that comes into play. You want to be able to easily identify what are those fields and those metrics to be able to pull that information in and not have to have 18 different ways to explain that something was done, for instance, in a
Hmm.
status category.
Um, so done versus closed debate, I don't think will ever end.
Nope,
That's my
nor should it.
favorite. That's one of my favorite icebreakers is the done versus closed argument because everyone has an opinion on it.
And
But
are you willing to share yours? What's yours?
no, because it's going to upset people because I don't have a stance.
Oh, see, your escape key on this one is it depends.
Not so much it depends. It's like with GIF and GIF. I find if I alternate between the two, it upsets both camps because the one thing they hate worse than whatever the other camp is inconsistency.
Yes. Yes. So, well, I guess I'm thinking because I work with a lot of clients, right? So for
Mhm.
between my clients, it would be it depends, but within an area, consistency is key. Why isn't that in here, by the way? Why isn't that one of our best practices? Consistency.
Because there's a reason we're in the position we're in.
All right. And so, speaking maybe of consistency, this can be hard, but creating and following naming conventions. So, whether that's your queues, your SLAs, which again, you could limit the names of those SLAs if you're a product administrator or an app administrator in that case. Again, it becomes about that predictability and maintenance. I don't want to think about, oh, should I start naming my queues after rock bands or should I name them after planets? You standardize on those things, so you make sure they're easy to find, easy to maintain. They're clear for those people who are using them, as what you can do through that, as they say, those context clues. You play a little Blues Clues so people know what to expect in any of those areas.
Yes, absolutely. This is the lesson I had to learn the hard way, because I used to like to get creative with like
Right?
server names.
So fun.
I mean, one of my favorite was using the periodic table because there's 118 of them. You're not going to run out of names before you run out of money for servers.
Right.
But that doesn't really tell you what the thing does.
Yeah.
Step
It just says
one,
somebody had fun with this.
there is one exception to this that though. My home assistant server that manages smart home is named Hestia, which is the Greek goddess of hearth and home.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, we have our stuff at home is named after Futurama.
Perfectly valid.
So any of our devices will have one of those names. All right. Okay, so what about existing projects, right? So if we can't create it from scratch, what should we do with those best practices? And yes, test, 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 test in a sandbox, preferably in a dummy project if you don't have a sandbox. Make sure you're testing it where you're not going to impair anything that is going on currently. Very important.
Absolutely. Even if you don't have a sandbox, you can't get a dummy project. Jira is free for under 10 users. Just set up your own instance. Have some place to test. And yeah, I remember going over this last time we were on this chapter. And it's like, look, I've given jobs to people. I've chosen candidates because one person tested and one person didn't.
Yep. Or prematurely stopped their testing, right?
Or prematurely
They
stopped it,
thought there was
or
that time limit. Yep. And those impacts. So I remember taking the cloud admin ACP and really working hard on understanding the impacts. So I've gone on to the next bullet of when you change something, what are those cascading effects? That was some of the hardest lessons I think that I had to learn for that. But that have significantly helped making sure that, hey, what are all those angles that I'm thinking about when we make changes? So now this is on a much smaller scale, but what happens when you change the project lead and a default assignee? I think these can be a little bit tricky sometimes for folks. Components are available in JSM, but I haven't seen them used as much because of services and whatnot. But definitely understanding how things like that fall out, right?
I mean,
Or
before
automation rules projects.
before services were a thing, that's what I'd use components for in a JSM
Yeah.
project because it just makes sense.
Yep. And then our create role-specific dashboards for information on your projects. So when you want to share that information inside and outside of your team, so sorry, I just have to read this one. You can create dashboards that present relevant information for these specific team members. So don't create everything for, you don't have to meet every single criteria from every individual person about what those things do. What you want to do is make sure that you get the information in there that it's like, I know it says role specific. I always think about those personas though. Who needs this information and what do they need? Do they need to see this level of detail or do they need that 30,000 foot detail level?
Mm-hmm. And become little C Jira champions.
Yes. So I don't know if we want to read all of this again, but when you become a Jira champion, I do think that It happens naturally, number one.
Mhm.
Number two, what I think is fun about it is that when you become the Jira guy, like Rodney here, right? That it becomes, yeah, we'll say the Jira guy in lowercase also. People start coming to you with some challenges, with some problems, and then it actually makes it for me a lot more fun
Mhm.
to get the opportunity to solve problems outside of my own sphere. And then when you get to solve those problems, you get those learning experiences as well. And then people come to you and then you can share that more. So becoming the Jira champion, making sure that you're working in it every day, making sure that you're doing your own updates, right? You're have you updated your issues today or your status? I'm not doing it perfectly, but the intent is there, right? That you're using the tool in those ways that it was built to be used and modeling that behavior for others.
Um, and here's the thing about being a champion. You can't be blind to the tool's shortcomings. There is nothing perfect in this world. Jira is a prime example of that. So, yes, you need to be that cheerleader, that champion, that person that goes up to bat, takes on the tough challenges, all this. But you need to also be able to say, Jira can't really do that. We need to add on, or Jira can't really do that. This sounds more like something you'd use another tool for.
That's a great point. I get Pollyanna-ish. I want it to do everything and I want to find it and solve it all. But yeah, being aware of its warts is just
Mhm.
as important.
It earns you a lot of goodwill with your customers, your users, being able to say, yeah, sometimes Jira sucks. Um, and it's getting better. It's an improving product, but there are many
Well,
ways it still sucks.
and it wasn't built to meet every use case, right?
Nope.
Because it can't. So there's absolutely those areas where it's not going to fulfill everybody's needs, and that's every product. Every
Mhm.
product that is out there is
I mean, I've
going
seen
to have
about
tools.
I've seen about 4 different add-ons to turn Jira into a CRM. I'm like, why? There is a better CRM out there already existing in the need. It lives in its own niche. You don't need to compete, have Jira be that because it's always never going to measure up.
Right. I'm just going to be quiet because I
All
would still
right.
want to turn it into one. All right.
Oh,
Go with your questions, Rodney.
I've still done it, but I've also done Salesforce administration, and it's one of those things like, yeah, it will work, but Salesforce will work better.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so moving on. Renee wants to change the default assignee of her project to her new tech lead. True or false? Changing the default assignee only impacts project permissions.
And I would go with false because of that word only.
If the thing about only, and this goes for all or every absolute words, is if you can think of one exception, they're instantly false. Only one exception. In this case, I
Mhm.
could think of automatic assignments. You could have automatic assignments set to be tech lead or project lead. And if you have them set up that way, changing the tech lead will change the default assignee.
Woohoo! And we've already under a badge. You're gonna have so many badges, Rodney.
Some of my older certs are coming up, so it'll be worthwhile. So we've already done map business requirements to Jira. I don't know why the other one wasn't checked as done, but here we are.
Oh, what's this next one? This is where I failed, friends.
Company managed and team managed projects in Jira.
I straight up did not even look at this before I took the 420. It's still a weakness because friends don't let friends make team manage projects.
Again, I get where Alex comes from, and from a Jira admin's perspective, I hate team managed projects. I'm going to be honest, but I am fully willing to admit, setting aside my Jira admin hat and doing a customer-centric business analyst role, there are times they have their uses.
Agreed. All right. I'm just trying to be honest that if it comes to this, don't come at me with questions, friends. All right. So by the end of this, though, but now I will know the answers because I'll be able to describe the differences between the company and team managed and identify if a project is company managed or team managed and differentiate what project admins can do in a company managed and team managed projects. It's just those, I know the difference is all there. It was just those variances between JSM and the JSM realm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for instance, our project type determines how different users can administer the project. It determines which features and behaviors are available. So with those, and I always do, over here we have team managed projects will be on my left because they do provide more independence. Like we're talking about, there are going to be use cases, a lot of temp projects, for instance, or where people just really want that level of control and it doesn't necessarily impact on a global scale. Team projects make a lot of sense for that, for people to be able to spin up their own project, configure their fields, configure their workflows, set requirements, etc. Whereas on the flip side, with our company managed projects, we can share those highly customizable configurations. We build out the schemes, allow greater flexibility than the settings available in team managed projects. Do you know what some of those flexible settings are between the two? I honestly don't, without looking that up. You're nodding, Rodney, do you?
I know some of them.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know how specific they get on the 420. I can't remember, but something to look into. And I think it was only, a very small percentage of the questions were related to this too. So that's why I kind of honestly blew it off. But, only those Jira product admins can create the company managed projects and implement those configurations. So project admins need to collaborate closely with the Jira admin.
Yep.
All right. So I guess we're going to learn this now. Team managed. So they can create roles, configure restrictions for different roles, configure work type field screens, workflows, notifications. And then here's one of those differences. Fewer options are available than in the company managed projects. So you don't need to be a Jira admin to configure. Yes, you can only have one board in a team managed project, which is interesting to cite here in JSM because I wouldn't have I didn't know when this got written compared to when they brought boards into JSM projects. And this is still true, though. The board can only display work from that project, not others.
Which again,
but a JSM board can't display items from other projects either. So it's just, that's why I'm tripping up the fact that they're putting this in the JSM context. There are also fewer apps and reports available. And so for company managed, we have our whole boat of schemes available to us, our permissions, notification, work types, work item fields, screens, workflows. Jira admins can use the same schemes across multiple company managed projects because that way lots of predictability. And then those company managed projects support multiple boards with more complex, including work from multiple projects. There are also more reports and apps available. Again, I think they just pulled this out of somewhere else and didn't make any changes on it for a JSM versus not, because that's irritating me because the board still can't do it in JSM.
I mean, hear me out here. You can still have it set up where you have a project independent board, a board not tied to a specific project in Jira software that pulls in issues from JSM. But I think that use case was only in data center that had both the JSM and Jira software add-on. But there was a way you could do it, and there will be a way you could do it for the next 3.5 years. No, I'm not salty about it. Not at all.
And so Liz, I can't count that many zeros, but I think it's 1,000,000,000%. This is direct from Improve in the learning paths for ACP-420 admin for cloud. All right. So don't get too caught up on it is all I'm telling folks later.
Yep.
So, oh, and now to determine the project type, because that's going to be important to know. Am I in a team managed or a company managed? Because if I have to diagnose a problem, and I need to know where to go to get it fixed. Do I need to go talk to a product admin, or do I need to go talk to a project admin, a team managed project admin? This is going to be important for us to understand so that we can see the project type for any project by clicking more actions next to its name in the sidebar. So we do have the updated graphics, yay! And we see there how we can now tell which type of project we're working on in that little ditty type down at the bottom.
And I would like to note here, again, we're studying for the ACP-420, which is the Jira Service Management certification. And what does this say right here? Software project.
Yes. A little copy and paste. That's okay. They're busy.
Reading Glasses Club.
Right.
I made sure I had mine on today.
Yeah,
even if only on my head.
I think I just left mine downstairs. All right. I only have 18 pairs of them.
I've only got up to 2, and I'm trying to keep it to that.
Good luck, friend. Good luck. All right. So how do we administer these different project types? And though the same kinds of people are project admins for company managed and team managed projects, think about product managers, people managers, team leads, scrum leads, and more. The role in Jira is very different. All right. So our team managed project admins, they can basically do everything. So they can set up the notifications, automation, work types, workflows, roles, and access and features. Yeah, all of that stuff that they don't have to go out to the admin for those shared items. But in our company managed projects, then we do need to go talk. Oh, sorry, company managed project admins. If we're one of those, we do have some abilities available to us. So automation features, enabling and disabling, layouts, so we can configure the order of our fields, where they're appearing on the screens, our work items and project members. So, well, we can't configure the work items, sorry, it's layouts for work items. And then, you know, who's part of our, who has access into our project. But then once we get beyond any of those, that's when we got to reach out to our Jira admins, because we can't configure internal permissions, internal notifications, work type screens, right? All of those schemes. Project admins can, however, configure workflows and layouts for work items, available fields, if they are granted the permission by the Jira admin. This is the great big caveat. Over in data center, it was like the extended project admin permissions, I believe. So now over in cloud, they have 2 extra permissions that they've slotted in to configure layouts and workflows. Layouts you can configure on your projects, that part's fine. But when it comes to the fields that are available on them, you can only pick the fields that have already been added to your project. And for those workflows, you could only affect your workflow if given that permission to modify the workflow, and if that workflow is only for that single company managed project. Once it's shared, all bets off. You can't touch it.
If you didn't mention that, Sarah, I was going to. Because that is the biggest gotcha I see is
right.
Project admins are expected to be able to modify their workflow. They got the permission, all that. But I look at it and their workflow is shared with 90 other projects.
Yep. And, you know, one day we'll have to talk about whether or not more projects should have, it goes against it though, right? Once again, I keep doing this circle debate in my head. Okay, so you give a project its own schema, its own workflow, right? And they can manage it. And then why not just give them a team managed project? I don't know, but we won't go there. All right. So, and then Liz says the automation permissions in a weird place. I'll have to check that out because I thought that was just inherent in the project permissions, just in the permission scheme. All right. So to be a project admin for either the team or company managed projects, you do need to have the administrator role for that project. So administrator role is a global role. It's automatically created upon any instance. It's not something you have to go out and create. But the user who creates the project is automatically assigned to that role. So they immediately get access. Won't go into the permissions and product access as it relates to JSM because it is a little different there. But our takeaway here is for company managed projects. The Jira admin who creates the project can add other users to the administrator role, designating them as project admin.
This first part here, there's an error or more a caveat that can get especially younger product, not project, product admins in trouble if they are not aware of it.
And that is?
In company managed projects, the administrator role only grants you permissions if it's set up that way in the permission scheme. If for some reason you do not grant the administrator role, the administer projects permission in the scheme, you could add them to that role all day long. They will not have that permission.
And you'll still go, where's my settings? Where's my settings? Where's my settings? Why can't I see settings?
Exactly. So under the default configuration for most permission schemes, absolutely true statement. But you can configure yourself into a problem if you do not assign a role or a group or something to that administer project's permission. And as a safety net, as Jira admins, what I've always done for company managed projects is I'll do the administer project's role, and then whatever are the super admin group within the AD or guard or whatever you're using for your group management, whatever your team's group is. So you always have the administer project permission, even if there is no one in that role.
Yes. That makes sense. And I feel like I've never done that, but now I'm worried because you brought it up, I'm going to. Like you planted a seed. All right. Okay.
I've done it once.
And hey, at least it's only been once. You didn't have to learn that lesson more than once.
Did not. But that's why I warn people now. There is a big caveat there that Atlassian does not mention in their education that you should be aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. So Liz was just saying, I also don't like add other users, add existing, because org admin can only add users. Okay. Yeah. So you're thinking about more like you're not adding users so much as providing them with permissions to work in your project. Providing existing users the ability, or you can invite users too. Rabbit hole. Okay. What's next? Let's see what we learned.
All right. So question number 1. Marco wants to create a board with work from multiple projects. Which project type should he use? Company managed, team managed, ether, or neither?
All right.
I know the answer.
I think I know. I told you I failed this because I always second guess myself. I'm going with company managed, though.
All right, we'll go with that.
And so what throws you is a company managed board can have things from a team managed project, but a team managed project can't have things from multiple projects.
Yep. Why isn't sure if his project is team managed or company managed? What's the easiest way for him to find this information?
Open a ticket.
Bad, Sarah. Bad.
Ping ping in a group chat. Hey, does anybody know?
Well, Sarah's answer is A. Contact his Jira admin. Find the project in the search bar. Click more actions next to the project name in the sidebar in his project's permission scheme.
Man, how many rights does this guy have? Click.
That is also
Woo!
correct.
Liz was right
You
too.
mean
Yay.
Sarah is saying she's not going to pass this, guys, but I think Sarah isn't giving Sarah enough credit.
No. Well, I've already have the 420. What I'm
that may
saying
be
is
the
I did
case, but
poorly on the team area.
and all I'm saying is I think Sarah's being too hard on Sarah. Again.
All right, let's go talk about Isla.
All right. Isla uses team managed projects. She wants to use a workflow from another project. True or false? Isla can use the same scheme as the project to use the same workflow. We go on false because that is correct. Liz, Sarah is already taking the 420. She is kind of our guide for this process. Just on this one thing, because me and Alex both already have our project admin certification. When it comes to team match versus company match, we kind of already know a little bit here. So we're kind of reversing our roles.
Indeed. I'm actually looking up right now. I want to say it's almost 2 years since I got that. So now
So
I'm
about time
curious.
to renew.
Oh, no, I'm all renewed too, actually. So I'm over 2 years. You're right. All right. You're going to have to ignore me for a second. I'll come. Here we go. And
All
I'm
right,
40%
so
renewed for next time.
you could count hosting TJL as towards your renewal.
I did.
It's my favorite loophole.
Right?
So while we're taking a quick break here, Liz, I know you've seen it because I've seen you commented on Rob's Discord. Do we need to save you a badge ribbon for Team 26? Because we got those in like just after 5 o'clock before the show here. And I'm so excited about those things. I cannot begin.
That is going to be fun.
It is, and it's something that I'm thinking we're definitely going to have to do again.
Yep. All right. I got it in May of 2023, I just saw. So I am a bit out from it.
So, yeah, I can't really show you guys. Maybe I can. Give me a link. Copy a link to this file.
Launching the Jira Life.
No, just show me the
I was going
file.
to say, now you're slower in the whole Slack. Welcome to our world, everybody.
And it's still not showing the images.
It's protecting our privacy.
There. While that loads in the background.
Are you going to mail me one?
If we have any left after the show, Sarah, I will absolutely mail you one.
Wow, you see that, guys? I can get points for my cert renewals being part of the crew, but I have to do an event
Sarah,
to get one of these.
That's for the official Jeremigo ones, because we want to save those for our fans first. But we are getting some special ones for TGL crew members that say something different.
That's breaking news. All right. So very fun. All right. I shall wait to get my official one. Because I need like all my, I should print out all my badges and certs and then add that on there.
Mm-hmm.
They should do that. They should give us ribbons for our cert so we can wear those around.
I know,
I digress. Right? That feels like it's a good idea. Okay. So choosing a project template in Jira. So we're going to talk about the different project types, templates, and shared configurations, and a project template that meets your team needs. I have feelings about project templates.
Yes.
So what is this thing called a project template that we are talking about? So there are many pre-configured project templates that enable you to quickly meet many of your needs. So when you go create project, it's going to give you a whole list of categories of different project types, and each one of them are already going to have configured work types, workflows, and other features intended for different use cases. So they have ITSM, basic service management, HR, marketing. You'll start to see lists and lists and lists of these things out there. And enterprise customers can create their own project templates.
So, Sarah,
Yes.
you don't like project templates, right?
I have very mixed feelings about them because of all the extra stuff they can create.
So, I need to apologize then.
Because I added that extra caveat, or
Because it was my suggestion to Atlassian when they were developing Jira Work Management that caused them to go down this route and create templates.
so, we're going to be right in that space of, once again, team and company,
Mm-hmm.
and template or not. So that's a whole other topic, probably, is about the templates and what happens when you use a project template. And I generally love templates, and especially for folks who are new and just getting up and started. But it's when they start creating overlapping items and overlapping schemes, then things go sideways.
That's fair. So, what I had proposed to Atlassian, because this is something that had been on my wish list for years and years and years, was, and we're going to go way off track, but this is my contribution to
But they're
Jira.
learning.
This is what I've contributed to Jira. So, I'm a little bit passionate about this.
We're just going to call it the Rodney feature from now on.
Fair enough. I'm sorry. But what I proposed is what I would love to have done is be able to bundle a configuration for a project as its own little item, either a save file or something that I can then share not only with other people in my project and use it to create other projects, but share with other organizations saying, hey,
Yeah.
this configuration has worked really well for me. Try it out.
Right. I love that.
That's what led them down the path that ultimately led to these templates.
Got it.
So if
you know
you
what
don't,
happened? Here's what I think happened, Rodney, is sometimes people write really amazing books and then they sell the book rights and then a movie gets made out of them. And the movie is okay, right? Because they have to do it for the masses and it doesn't exactly follow the book.
Mhm.
I think that's what we've got here.
So yes, what I proposed, what I wrote with the book, Atlassian took that and made the movie,
Yes.
and the movie is nothing like the book.
Right.
But it is still the Rodney feature. I mean, no one
Yes.
calls it that. No one knows this little trivia fact, but
Well, we're broadcasting it now for sure. So the Rodney feature of these project templates includes, and I was going to say, when did bundles come out? Is bundles old, or was bundles new and now it's old and not there anymore? Or is bundles like breaking news? Because I don't remember bundles.
bundles are new. I mean,
Brand
they
new.
even say new.
Yeah, but it's a screenshot that says new. So I'm like, is that new? Like, how new is this? I'm gonna have to go out and look at that. So yeah, so again, you're first getting started out here in the world of Jira. Your Jira life has just begun, and
Roll
you don't know
credits.
where to start. And or you're starting to onboard more teams. Maybe you've been around for a while, right? And you're heavily ingrained in your software development and you're heavily ingrained in your ITSM, and people are out there complaining like, hey, I want some of that goodness. So then project templates absolutely are a really nice gateway. Maybe let's say to set up the first one.
Mhm.
Let's say you set up your first HR project or your first marketing project or your first business operations, finance, whatever. Use it to set up that initial project for those teams. get all those things together that you need, and then go from there and start using shared configurations.
Yep.
So actually go back up to that bundle for just a second, because okay, so let's look at the marketing bundle. Does coordinate a go-to-market launch, has a Kanban, and asset creation. Really fascinating. I'm gonna have to look at that because, you know, everybody's first question with any JSM implementation tends to be, how do I get this over into my software project? How do I link all of this stuff? So if we're talking about where some shortfalls are, understandably, that's one of those shortfalls. And there are apps out there that let you do that synchronization and coordination. But I'm wondering if the bundles have any secret magic powers. Anyhow. So as that champion, especially if you're an admin who has the ability to explore these project templates, go out there. And I wonder if this is going to say a lot of what I just said. So project template and project type are separate. So you can choose many combinations of types and templates. So you can have a company managed or a team managed project that uses Kanban or Scrum template. Okay. Some templates may only be available for one project type. So that's what we were talking about. So, you know, you might filter first by Jira Service Management and see what options are out there, because that's going to impact your configuration. So project templates provide pre-configurations. The project type determines how you can further configure your project. So a team managed offers fewer configurations, but more control. For users who aren't Jira product admins, and then the company managed projects are much more customizable. Again, all of our schemes, but only Jira admins can create them. You know, so it's just saying be cautious about what you're doing and how you're doing it. In fact, whether or not your product admin has enabled people just to be able to create team managed projects. So if they have, then you'll start to see, you know, create project templates. Oh, and aren't they sneaky, by the way, when they put in the, like, so many people have the ability to see the create project and then they go, haha, just kidding. Go ask
That,
somebody.
yep.
Man.
I will say for these templates, if you do use them, understand the goal here from Atlassian. And this, again, me talking with them when these were first created for work management, they're meant to get you 90% of the way there. Even if you use a template, there will still be some customization you will need to do to completely fit your teams. So
Yes.
don't think I could just create this and I'm done.
Bye. All right. And this goes, I don't know. Do we want to go into all these templates given this
Oh.
again is JSM? Just know there's JSM templates, friends. There's templates for projects. There's templates for request types. There's templates for forms now. It's a beautiful thing.
Yep. So just without going into detail, for software, we've got Kanban, Scrum, Bug Track. And these are kind of our classic three. These even go back all the way to server. And then we got top level planning, which is kind of the new template in town for software.
Mm-hmm.
For business projects, these are our former Jira work management projects. We got project management, go to market, manage approvals for business project task tracking. And for our service project templates,
Here's the good stuff.
yeah, this we might want to go through.
Yes.
For the sake of this particular course. We've
Yes.
got a few of them. Just go through them real quick before we go into detail. IT service management, general service management, customer service management. Don't do this. HR service management, facility service management, legal service management, and just the basics for IT service management.
Mm-hmm. And then each one of those, no matter which one you pick, though, one of the things I think that's important to know is you're not locked into only using whatever it provided. It's still configurable. You can still turn on features. You can still turn off features. So if you happen to choose an HR project and then you're like, hey, I really wanted incidents, you can. There's nothing that's stopping you apart from your admin rights and working with your admin for getting that taken care of.
Yep. So the IT Service Management template helps teams manage service requests, resolve incidents, prove changes, fix problems using the ITSM best practices. It is best for IT teams, DevOps, or any team that wants a service project with incidents and change management capabilities. This template is only available for company managed projects. So if you want this to be a team managed project, I'm sorry.
And
Have...
that bottom line there, that is an interesting thing that maybe that's where a question would come up. Here are some templates. I could totally see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm way too far out from it to even think of like what's actually on there, but that feels like one of those little curveballs.
I'm going to be honest, as the Jira guy, I've had people ask me for, hey, do you have any questions for the test? Trying to cheat, basically, which, to be clear, because Atlassian will listen on occasion, I do not give them any questions, and I usually report them to Atlassian because that is cheating and that cheapens all of our certifications. But the other part of that is I don't even remember the questions 10 minutes after I walk out of that test.
Right? I know. You're like, you walk out after one of the exams and you're like, what did I, like, you couldn't even, for me, I might have seen one, thought about the answer, but then I don't remember what I actually picked and or why, and much less be able to tell you if it was right or wrong, whatever you picked.
But usually if I see a question and it's one I do know the answer to, I could answer it every time consistently. It's just I don't retain it.
Right. Because it's when you're presented with it. But yeah, later on you'd be like, I don't remember.
There was a question on that? I guess there was.
Right. All right. So here, for instance, general service management could be for either.
So they're for teams that need to efficiently gather priorities and handle support requests. It simplifies request submissions for employees and enables teams to respond to support workflows. This one is available in both company and team managed projects. So when I think general service management, I'm starting thinking legal, a group that needs to take in work from customers being the wider company, do something, and send it back out. You'll still have to heavily customize it for legal. It's not going to get you 100% of the way there, but it is a great one to use as a basis to start with.
My gut is telling me it's only going to be that change in incident management is going to be the differentiator between whether or not it's company or team managed.
I am thinking you're probably right.
And we will see that in a few minutes. Oh, totally wrong. Look at that. Immediately, I am wrong.
So first off, to anyone who's ever worked customer service, I'm sorry. I feel your pain. I've been there. So getting that out of the way, customer service management template is ideal for teams that need branded support for external customers. I am sorry. May God be with you. This template is only available for company managed projects.
That is fascinating. I'm really trying to figure out, though, what's the differences between the team and company, like why one template would be for one and not the other.
I'm sure there's a feature that
Yeah.
they share that's the reason why, but I cannot think of it off the top of my head.
Right?
It'd be nice if they put it there.
Right?
Yeah. The HR Service Management template enables HR teams to manage staff, requests, payroll, onboarding, change requests, inquiries, and other HR services. They are available for both company managed and team managed projects. Now, what is going to be the big difference between the HR service management and general service management?
What is the big difference?
What would be my biggest concern if I were setting this up from scratch?
I'm going to say confidentiality and issue and work item security.
Yes, exactly. I am betting this one has the confidentiality baked in, whereas you would have to remember, I need to set up issue security when I set up a project.
I don't know if it's baked in, friend.
It'd be the first thing I'm checking because
Yeah, I don't think it's baked in, apart from maybe restricted customer acts. No, not even restricted customer acts. I don't remember seeing any of these templates with any baked in security.
That would be the first thing I do when it comes to HR. Because
Mm-hmm.
the last thing you want as HR is for other people to see what everyone's making.
And or offboarding requests.
Or offboarding requests, or even onboarding requests really can be sensitive because of the type of
Sure.
data you have to gather during onboarding.
Right. Right.
So,
And that's where, yeah, in HR service management, the one now I believe it, I don't know that it includes a journey, but like I think there's also like features maybe that are turned on and off.
mhm. I imagine there are features turned on and off, but the one thing I would want to see, and if it's not, it'd be the first thing I did, was issue security.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is a word I have trouble saying, apparently.
Too many S's that don't make the same S sound.
Yep. All right. So, facility service management. Facility service management template is ideal for facility teams needing an easier way to track work and handle employee requests. This template manages maintenance, moving, and event planning. The template is available for both company managed and team managed projects.
We're gonna have to find that differentiator, man.
I mean, for facilities, I totally see there need to be incident response, but that doesn't make sense for any of the others.
Mm-hmm. Legal.
Legal service management template provides legal teams a clear and central way to track and manage their work. This template enables you to create, track, and manage your contracts through the review cycle to resolution. This template is available for both company and team managed projects. Honestly, the less I have to configure for the legal group, the happier I'll be. So I am so happy to see this.
Right.
And not that I have a problem with lawyers, but they get so persnickety about their requirements that the less I have to do, the easier time I'll have overall.
Yes. And I can imagine here again, there could be security that goes along with the desire
Mhm.
for that. Not to mention being particular about where is some of their documents, either they're not attached or linked to, right?
Mhm.
All right. And then just our essentials.
Which helps teams manage simple changes, incident problems, service requests with team managed workflows. This one is only available for team managed projects, which counters our big one here that is only
Yes.
for company managed.
Yes.
So,
If anybody from Atlassian happens to see this, help us understand what is it that makes something one and not the other. All right. So many rules, right? The minute you say legal.
I mean, lawyers love their idiosyncrasies.
Well, I would say they're no different from the IT guys.
They're similar but incompatible.
All
Well,
right.
I have not been paying attention to the time, Sarah.
I know. I know. We just hit our hour, so we'll talk about how to actually create them next time.
Yep. And barring any massive earth-shattering announcements from Atlassian, our next time will be next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We should have Alex back. We should have Bob back. They're both on travel this week. So we should have both of our friends back.
Yeah.
And
Rodney, you are 1 month out of taking it, right?
I am less than 1 month out of taking it.
Today's the 10th. What day are you scheduled?
October 9th.
I gotcha. All right. We're going to get you there, friend.
To be fair, I probably could pass it now, but
God.
I also just like that little extra guarantee.
Absolutely. All right.
So,
We will see you guys next time then.
See you next time. And again, as a reminder, join us for our regular show tomorrow. Given, again, said earth-shattering announcements, we changed what we're talking about entirely this week, mid-cycle. We're actually going to be talking about the big data center announcement from Monday. So we've all had a little more time to process things, kind of figure out what's going on here. So, did I say Monday? I meant Tuesday.
I don't know what day it happened anymore.
It happened on a day where things happened.
Yes.
But we've had some time to process it now. We've kind of absorbed things, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. So join us, absolutely. 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Same bat channel, different bat time.
All right.
Talk to you guys later.